let's talk probation. And I want to share with you this story and see if it sounds familiar. So you've had a new starter. They started off really well, but as the time has gone on, their performance has dropped off a little bit. Maybe attendance has sagged, and they're just not delivering what you want to deliver. Maybe there are a couple of alignment issues as well. What do you do? So you contact HR, you say, hey, I want to offboard this person because they're just not a right fit. They're not performing to how I want them to perform. On checking the records, guess what? They have passed the probationary period by 1 day. What does this mean? It means it is harder for you to offboard or exit them from the business because they've actually passed their probation, whether it is a 6 months or 12 months, depending on your business and the level of employees you've got. What now? What are your next steps? This person now, you have to go through the process of managing underperformance in alignment and in accordance with all of your internal processes, policies, and procedures. So now this becomes a real problem for you because now your time is going to be spent having to manage them. I'm here to tell you it didn't have to happen like that way. That is definitely a reactive approach to when it comes to the probationary period. Ideally, we want to hire unicorns and we want them to just come in, do the job that you want them to do, excel at that job, and life is easy and life's a breeze. But it isn't always like that. We make a lot of hiring mistakes, and that is what your probationary period is for. So your probationary period, really, it's for you to find out more about this person. It's around alignment, it's around fit, because what we do know, hiring isn't an exact science. We do make mistakes, and this is a two-way process. It's not just for you to say, hey, is this person a really good cultural fit, a performance fit for the team? Is there alignment there? It's also for them to ask the question, is this the right company for me? Am I going to be satisfied here within the job? So you need to really think about this probationary period as essential. And there are a couple of top tips and tools that I want to share with you today that will eliminate that problem that we had at the start around managing somebody now who is being onboarded and they were a problem, but we didn't take steps to fix that, to address it. So here we go. I've got a couple of tips for you. Okay, number one is you need to have a welcome meeting in which this is an introduction to the company, the vision, the values, the mission, the behaviors, and the expectations around performance. Now, this person may have moved from one company to your company, and it is a similar, it's a similar industry, similar company, but now it's around aligning to the behaviors and the values of this new organization, this new business company. So it's really essential that you do that. You probably already do this, but you need to really make sure that you're setting those expectations. And those expectations are around, the next point are daily check-ins. For the first 2 weeks, you need to have daily check-ins at the start of the day to go over the work for the day for this individual, what's expected, when you're going to catch up, what are the most important priorities they need to focus on, and then aligning behaviors as we go along. Number three is after that 2-week period is think about having a weekly catch up instead of a daily catch up. Because what we're going to be doing now is we're going to be giving them a little bit more rope, a little bit more freedom, autonomy, and independence to get on with their tasks, their jobs, as they get to know the business from front to back within there. After that 3-month point, then we can maybe look at extending that to fortnightly rhythm, in which you probably already do with your team members already. At that 3-month mark, it's really important to sit down with them and have a performance discussion to say, hey, here's where you're performing well. Here are some improvements that I want to see. And this is exactly what I want to see in the next 3 months. This is one of the most missed opportunities to align performance. So going back to that previous example where the manager had no check-ins for the whole period, and there was no feedback. And we mentioned previously, 68% of employees received 0 performance feedback. So this is a chance for you to give them that feedback and align them and to really set them up for success. set them up for success. The next part is you are now going to integrate those fortnightly catch-ups using the one-on-one template that I've shown in a previous video. If you're interested in that, then just email me and I can send you a copy of that one there. And then as it's coming close then to the end of the probation, we need to have an end of probation review. Now, as a minimum, this really needs to be done 2 weeks before the end of probation. And you're going to sit down with them, you're going to evaluate their performance over the last 5.5 months. You're going to give them that performance feedback. If they're on track and they're passing probation, in which I would expect they would do if you're regularly catching up with them, then you're going to say, hey, you've been successful with probation, it's going to end here, and hey, here's your written letter to confirm you have passed probation and you'll be onto a full-time or full-term contract, whichever suits your business. If not, then this is a chance then to really identify you're going to offboard them and say, hey, thanks very much, but you're not a really good cultural fit. Or you could extend probation. Now, I would go with a tale of caution there, is to go, you've already had 5.5 months to get this person up to scratch. Is it worth another 3 months of continuous feedback to get this person up, or is it not? After that 6 months, it becomes harder and harder to offboard them. In the 6-month probationary period, it's really easy to offboard them because you don't need to give them much notice. You can just say, hey, thanks very much, but we're not a cultural fit, and we're going to finish you up today or at the end of the week. So it's really easy for that. As soon as they pass it, it becomes a lot more complicated with that as well. In that probationary period, they don't really necessarily qualify for unfair dismissal, but after that they do. You can check it all out at fairwork.gov.au if you would like to find out more information around that. But bottom line is, you need to be taking a proactive approach to managing your probationary period, managing your new starter. It is a two-way process of you finding out more about them, you aligning their behaviors, you aligning values, performance, and ensuring that they're actually delivering what you want them to do. It's also for them to find out, is this the organization that I want to work in? Do I believe in the vision, mission, and values of the organization? Am I going to put my best foot forward? Now, this whole period, you're going to set the tempo and the rhythm for giving feedback, the culture that you want to create, which is aligned to your team charter. And really, it's around building those long-term relationships, building trust, and finding out more about them, then finding out more about you, so you can recognize and reward them in a way that is going to make them work harder, more efficiently, more effective for you and the organization. So have a look over your probationary period. Are you doing the proactive things you need to do?